Hello, folks. Welcome to the Sovereignty Sage podcast. My name is Melania Johnson. And today we're going to focus on being disciplined during these times. I'm kind of unscripted today, so let's see how this goes, shall we? But I think that I'm calling on you sage folks out there to have a good measure of discipline and strategy during this time. So, let's get into what we're talking about today. I'm going to keep it sweet and short. Again, this is the Sovereignty Sage channel. This is a podcast for women's empowerment. Growing up, my mother said to me many, many times, Melania, women are the most strongest things on the planet. They just don't know it. They're the most powerful beings on the planet. They just don't know it. And so I'm here to help us all know it. And today we are talking about discipline. And so I want to be specific in three specific areas. Discipline in terms of our response to what's going on as an American, as an African American, a Black person in America during a time where our democracy is being is under siege. We're in the midst of a coup, and that's the reality. And two, in terms of our discipline, in terms of making certain that we think ahead in terms of elections. Should we ever have elections, we need to be strategic about that and put some things into place and understand what is being done right now that might be wiping away your rights to vote and your community's right to vote. And then I want to talk about Derek Chauvin. He was the police officer that we all witnessed murder um, uh, George Floyd, and some things that are going to potentially happen that might incite us to riot, but we can't fall for the bait. So I'm asking my sovereignty sages, that's you women in the community, to have conversations with your family, to have conversations in your community while you're getting your nails done, while you're getting your hair done, to have these kinds of conversations so that we're spreading the information. So let me first start by saying being disciplined in our response to the attack on our democracy. Um, I just never really thought that I would wake up one day and have some of the fears that those people who survived and didn't survive the Holocaust, to have the fears that our ancestors, those of us who have ancestors that came uh, from slavery, I never thought I would face those types of fears again. Now, living in America as an African American, and I'm just calling myself Black, right? A Black person, right? I didn't think I'd have to face those fears, but here we are. And so we must be very disciplined in how we move forward. And I talk about this often. First, you must secure your home. And I mean in every sense of the word. There's some things going on in the background in Washington, D.C. They are trying to push forth every firearms case there is and flood the courts with these cases. They're also, in doing so, there's a couple of strategies. One, they're going to tie up the courts. So some of the things that the courts are trying to fight back against in terms of this administration won't go through. But also, they're starting to play with the, that constitutional amendment or in terms of firearms, right? We've got more ammunition than any country in the world in our citizenry. And that could be dangerous. So they're going to go after guns. And people feared that Democrats were going to go after their guns, but it's not the Democrats that are going to go after their guns. So with that being said, that things may change and they might want to make it more difficult for people to protect themselves. So do what you got to do to protect your home. Okay, just do what you have to do to protect your home, to protect your family, to protect your community. Do what you have to do. So that is one thing. And again, right now, those are within our rights. So we have to be disciplined in our response to what is happening. Take care of yourself. I know I have not been. Okay, so um, I know that if I am going to be able to be the type of person that weathers this storm, that I have to really work on my mental well-being and my mental health, because that's a part of the strategy of what's going on today. They want to there to be a deluge of things that just batter us, that just make us feel despondent. So if you're hitting the bottle too much, if you're imbibing in other things too much, if you're trying to check out, disengage, overeat, overshop, these are our coping mechanisms, but we must be disciplined. It may not be safe to go and march out into the streets. And quite frankly, I think that right now is the job of white folks. Black people have been advocating for equality. They've been advocating for fairness and humanity for over 400 years since the forced arrival to this country. I think it's now time for white folks to get out, because this country has always had more compassion for them than they had for us. The one thing that we can be disciplined about is our spending. Don't give the enemy your money, period. Only buy the essentials: food, gas. And if you have an electric car, you don't have to even buy that, right? Hold on to your money. Inflation, higher prices on everything is going to hit this country because of tariffs, because of the stock market is falling. So maybe your investments aren't going to be doing as well as they did before. Hold on to your money. Do not let rich people like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, get your money. The one thing they can't force us to do is spend. Okay? So hold on to your dollars. Keep your purse closed. That's the one disciplined thing that you can do. If you can't eat it, if it doesn't get you to and fro, where you need to go, then please keep that is a power. At some point in time, when there is greater leadership and there's some groups out there, find your national group that is mounting some kind of resistance against what is going on here, and join them, right? But in the meantime, the one thing that we can do is hit them in the pocketbooks, because they're coming after your pocketbook. They're coming after your savings. They're coming after your paycheck. If they're going to make us hurt, be disciplined enough to keep your money, because that's how capitalism goes. So let's talk about that. All right. So the first discipline that we can do is to keep our money. Shut down the economy. There's going to be some collateral damage. That means people are going to lose jobs. Hey, that's the real deal. That's why I say that, start with your family. Make sure that your family is secure. We're going to have to potentially live differently than we have in the past in order to survive, than to thrive, right? But first, you have to survive. The second discipline area is in safeguarding your vote. I don't know if we're going to be able to have elections in the future, and if they're let me just say this: Black people's votes are purged at greater numbers than anyone. We lose votes simply because, because of racism, one. But let's make certain we cross our I's and dot our T's. That means that however we're supposed to register to vote, let's make certain that we get out the vote. That we would be in a very different place if people who did not vote had come out to vote from our community. Yes, we talk about the 92% that showed up to the polls, right? But that those extra percentage points would have pushed us over, because this was not a race that was won by a wide margin. So let's hope that there are other elections, but also let's make certain that we're election workers. Let's make certain that we have candidates that we can vote that will promote our interests. Make certain that you are involved locally, because your state and your local government might be the barrier between what is happening on the federal level. So make certain that you are involved. Also understand that what is being voted on is something called the SAVE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. We have one of the most safest elections right now. There's been some questions about how many Black votes were purged from the last election, millions of votes, right? But in outside of acts that target us and try to remove our vote, silence our vote, we have safe elections. So this Safeguard American Voter Eligibility means that in order to register, to vote, you have to have verification of your American citizenship. That means either a birth certificate or a passport. Well, that right there, that requirement puts over 21 million votes in danger, because people might not have the money. I just got my passport updated, and I suggest if you can pull a few coins together to do that too, because you never know when you might have to hit the road, Jack, right? But with that being said, right, that was like $130. Not everybody has that. Not everybody knows where their birth certificate is. So we need to make certain that these documents are in place. The other thing that is problematic too is that if you were married and you changed your name, or if you're transgender and you had a name change, that means that whatever's on your birth certificate does not match your other ID. That will disqualify you from being able to vote. So make certain that you have your documentation in place. If you must save up to get pay for these documentations, do so. You should also, and some advice that I've received over some of the folks that I've followed is, get some of these documents, get a copy of it, and have it notarized, because you cannot be confident in the fact that you too won't be pulled over as a person of color by ICE. And this is Nazi Germany time, where you've got to have identification, but that's where we are. So be disciplined in terms of preparing for upcoming votes. There are some the margin by which the Republicans have a majority is slim, and there's some upcoming votes in the next couple of years. We need to do some things before then. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Economic boycott. Save your money. That's the fastest thing that we can all do. right? We need to have some work strikes and some work slowdowns, those types of things. But holding on to your money cripples an economy. But also have your voter information ready. And the last thing that I want to talk about is don't fall for the bait. I think there's a man called Ben Shapiro and Elon Musk are pushing for Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin, who murdered George Floyd. What this administration is trying to do is to incite people to riot so that they can then elicit martial law. Don't fall for it, y'all. Look at it internally, feel whatever kind of way you want to feel about it, if it should come to pass. But do not take to those streets, because they are waiting for an opportunity for Black folks to step out in the streets so that they can beat us, incarcerate us, try us for being traitors. We must be disciplined. Cast your vote with your dollars. Keep them to yourself. When you don't spend, they hurt. There are some economic boycotts coming up. Amazon, Nestle. I think Amazon is the boycott is from the 7th to the 14th. There's some, boycotts, scheduled for Facebook. But here's the deal. I'm not spending my money. You can, and let's get real in terms of, because they're going to, people who are out there pushing for this kind of stuff, they're going to start coming after them. So let's just keep it real simple. Just keep your money in your pocket. Be disciplined. Whatever clothes you have, you have. If your kids outgrow something, learn how to barter and learn how to trade. Oh, your kid is well, here, I don't have any more kids. Here, use these clothes. Be that way in your family before you start spending your money. Be disciplined in that area. Be disciplined in being ready and getting your community to be ready to vote, and be disciplined to the response should Derek Chauvin be pardoned. Make certain that we are not in these streets tearing things up, because it will then be an excuse for them to have police brutality against us, imprison us, and try us. So that's my message for today. In terms of the word for today, it's the same word that I had last time. Sovereignty begins with self, family, and community. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your community. Secure these things now while you fight collectively to secure your country. I heard today about a organization called Alliance for Black Equality.org. I believe they are putting some things forth to have more of a national response to what is going on. But there's Indivisible that teaches us how to protest. There is, I think, the general strike, which is trying to amass 10 million people to then start doing some work strikes. There is, I forgot the name of it, but there's the organization that is, promoting these economic boycotts. Find your national organization. Then I'm going to say to you, I have a company, Be Smart Coaching. I do leadership and individual coaching. One of my programs is a 6-week mental health, mental fitness program. It is an amazing program. It is something that I use to help me identify those things that sabotage you, the thoughts, the patterns, the way that we process things that actually make us less effective, less resilient, less happy. The victim saboteur, the hypercritical one, the you know the one that is the avoider. There's about 10 saboteurs. The judge that is just cruel to yourself and others. You learn to identify those saboteurs. Also learn to identify your sage. That gives you some skills to be able to navigate certain situations from a different mental map, right? So we're changing neural paths during this process. You have an amazing access to an app that will help to keep mental fitness at the forefront of your day. And throughout the day, you can work to increase your ability to be more resilient and mentally fit. There's a weekly group coaching, uh, 5 participants, people like you who are trying to live their best life and to be able to have some measure of peace and resilience and happiness. You will get a digital copy of the best-selling book, Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Chamine, who is the founder of this amazing program. So if you want to learn more about it, www.besmartcoaching.com. That is my company. And I hope that you learn more and sign up. And so with that being said, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. If anything that I said today resonates with you, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know, what are you doing during these times? One of the things I keep talking about ad nauseum, probably getting on everybody's nerve, is having a garden. There's going to be issues with food security. And in underserved communities that already live in food deserts, growing your own food is a way to safeguard. They're going after small farms right now because they want to eradicate them so that all our food comes from large corporations who can use as much pesticides as they want and charge as much as they want. So when you grow your own food, you're no longer controlled by that conglomerate. Because understand now, what's going on is happening to enslave us. Companies, corporations are safeguards that safeguard us from corruption, safeguard us in terms of protections, protecting our rights. They're all being eliminated through Doge and elimination of these departments and agencies. So we're going to have to protect ourselves, and we have to fend for ourselves. And one of the things you can do is secure your food. And I've done other podcasts on this. I follow Lead Farmer 73, who talks about how to create a survival garden. You can live being a vegetarian. And with bird flu, and with that is jumping from birds to cattle to humans, you cannot trust this administration to make secure, that our food is safe. People are up in arms about the price of eggs. Almost $20 for 18 eggs. I saw in the supermarket the other day. I was like, I will not be buying you. Right. But in order to appease people, they might just go, well, if birds are infected, so what? Give them give them their eggs, give them their chicken. And yeah, they're infected, but they don't care because look who they have heading the health organization, RFK, who was talking about take cod liver oil for measles. They don't care about y'all. They don't care about y'all. So with that being said, I hope that something I said resonated with you. If you haven't heard it lately, you are amazing. You are strong. You are sovereign. Go rule your world. Thank you. I'll be back next Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be disciplined.